All right, everybody. Good Monday. 7:20 right now. Things quiet at the plaza. It's cold, but we are quiet there. We already have a hefty snow band just north of the metro. Snow is on the way. We're going to have a couple rounds of that. It's going to move through tonight and through much of the day Tuesday. This is our winter storm, and it comes not only with the snow but with the cold. So we are here to get you ready for it. I want to show you everything that I see, my thoughts on it, and just kind of break it down and what you can expect overnight tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, and then in the rest of the week to come with both the snow and the cold. So try to help out with your plans here and give you an idea of what we're working with. So let's get to work. Let's hop right to it. We'll start out here with the actual system. I just want to give you an idea. This was a computer forecast. It is a computer forecast, so starting earlier this afternoon. But what I am showing you here is how we've got a couple little fingers of snow. We had one this morning. There's another one coming this evening. The primary low, though, is still pretty far away from us. So what we're getting tonight and what we got this morning is not the main event. All right, so watch as this tracks our way as we go throughout the evening. And then coming in out of the north, so this is 10 p.m. tonight, you see high pressure dropping in. Now that high pressure is the really, really cold air straight out of the North Pole. I mean, it's out of the Arctic Circle of Canada, it's out of the poles, and it's coming straight down toward us, and it's nasty cold too. So that caught between the low pressure and its moisture and the cold air to the north, you get a snowstorm, and it's moving through overnight. And then here's the main round through much of the day tomorrow. Now what you should point out here and what I want to show you, pretty big system here. I mean, snow stretching all the way from South Dakota into Oklahoma. But for us, in the track that this is on, we're on the northern fringe. We are not caught right in the meat of the heaviest snow with this. So whenever you're on the northern side of a system like this, and you've got really cold air, and really cold air is really dry air. Think of your hands whenever you're outside and it's really cold. You don't even have to be outside. Just in the wintertime, how your hands get really dry, you got to put lotion on or they start cracking. The air is just so dry. Well, dry air and snow, you know, those aren't friends. The dry air can really cut down on snow on the north side of a system. So that's a concern. For how much we get, you know, trying to figure out what these totals are going to be like. I'll show you what I think here in just a second. But let's start out with this. So bottom line is we've got round one this evening and overnight tonight. And this will bring us around an inch or so by tomorrow morning. We could have a couple spots that are up to a couple inches, so 1 to 2. But don't expect a big blanket of just, you know, a half a foot of snow tomorrow morning in a winter wonderland. It just doesn't look that way, but we'll have some and some accumulation with that as we start the day. Then the main round is through the day on Tuesday. This is going to be widespread. It's going to be much of the daylight hours, and it'll accumulate throughout the day. And there's going to be a really sharp cutoff here, where if you're south of Kansas City, or even on the south side of Kansas City, you're going to get more. And if you go north, you're going to get less. So significantly less, and possibly over a pretty short area, over a pretty short little drive. You could see big differences, you know, just a county or two could have pretty large differences in snow totals. So timing this out, we've got snow out there now. I'll show you the radar in a bit. And this is a band. It's kind of a little solo band that is going to work through the general area through about 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight to 2, something like that. Then that band's going to give us a break, and we catch a lull. So we'll call it 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight to 2, up till about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And you wake up tomorrow, and you'll have the accumulation that we've had from this evening and tonight, but it may not get going with the main round until 8 or 9 tomorrow morning. So I think the morning commute you should plan on is going to be, you know, snow on the roads. It's going to be slow. It's not going to be crippling, but the drive home here, let me get you the full graphic here so you can see this. The drive home, I think, will be worse because it's going to snow all day long, and you know the roads are just going to deteriorate. Now it's a light and fluffy snow, so hopefully the plow is going to be able to keep ahead of this pretty well. But just bottom line is, as it snows throughout the day, the roads will probably get worse, and then the evening commute would be worse than the morning commute. But it should be coming to an end not too far after sunset, we're thinking. This is going to start to slide away, so that's going to trim about 6 hours off of the length of this thing. It was looking like it would be roughly, you know, midnight to midnight or so, but now it's kind of more, 10 p.m. or midnight tonight through 5 or 6 tomorrow. So the duration of the snow may end up being a little bit shorter. So these are my forecasts. Let me give you my forecast here. If you're north of Kansas City, 1 to 3 inches is what we're thinking. For the metro, 2 to 4 inches. That's within Kansas City metro limits. And again, lighter to the north, heavier to the south. And if you're south of Kansas City, you could get a half a foot of snow here, 4 to 7 inches. So I'll let you soak this in for a second. This is what we're thinking. There's going to be, if you're in an area of North Kansas City that gets a little, juicy band like we've got right now, there might be some spots that don't quite line up with this just because of the nature of two different bands coming through. But in general, big picture-wise, this is what we're thinking. So let me show you something else here, and that is the computer forecasts. And the computers are forecasting more snow than what I just showed you. So let me show you what the computers have. All right, by the end of the day on Tuesday, they're spitting out about 6 inches in Kansas City, about a half a foot of snow, and 7, 8, 9, 10 inches south, 2, 3, 4 inches north. So that's quite a lot more, and I want you to know that that is possible. All right, so what I showed you with my forecast, it could be too low. And the reason why, and nobody knows here how this is going to play out, of course, but the reason why the computers are showing this is that it's on the table, but we're forecasting less because the computers are saying that we are going to get a boost in how much snow accumulates because the type of snow and the flake is going to be extra fluffy. So just think of if you've got, sandbags and you stack sandbags, something that's kind of dense. They're going to pancake on top of each other. But if you stack fluffy pillows that are filled with cotton balls, if you've got 10 of each, the pillows are going to stack higher. That's kind of what the computer forecast is taking in with the type of snowflake that we get, that they're going to be really light and really fluffy. And because of that, you get higher snow totals from the same amount of liquid. But what often happens, and if you've been around Kansas City, anywhere in the Midwest, you've been dealing with snow and forecasts, what you really have to watch is dry air. And that cold air, remember, is really, really dry. And that can cut your snow down in a hurry. And with those two competing forces, I'm thinking that the computers are a little too greedy with how much snow we get, and we're probably going to see less. So I'm thinking, and I do have other computer forecasts that are more in line with that 2 to 4, but I just want you to see one of the ones that has a bit more that's bringing this in. So if this happens, I want you to know we saw that this could happen, and we need to be thinking, yeah, it could be a half a foot, but it's less likely. What's more likely is that dry air is going to have a limiting factor on this. It's going to put a cap on it, and at 2 to 4 inches, I feel pretty comfortable with that forecast. So now you've kind of got the range. What's most likely is 2 to 4, less likely but still possible is up to a foot. Now, while snow is a big talking point here, as far as impacts are concerned, what we're looking at is the biggest impacts can come from the cold. So let's show you this. Here's Tuesday. Snow amount. All right, so let's say we get 2 to 4 inches. That's moderate impacts. All right, that's going to cause issues on the roads. It's going to slow us down. It's not crippling. We've had much worse snow than that already this season. This is not the blizzard. All right, so we'll just put that mid-grade. Road conditions are going to be rough at times, especially the evenings. So we'll say medium to medium high impacts on the roads at times, not all day long necessarily. But this cold is top tier cold. I mean, we had last year the wild card game against the Dolphins, and that was the worst cold snap that we'd had since the 70s. So it's fresh in our minds, and now it kind of feels like, oh, yeah, we had this not that long ago. This isn't all that unusual. To get this cold is not common. I mean, we get it. It happens sometimes. But to have it this cold for this long is unusual. It's extreme. It's life-threatening. It's pipe-busting. It's record-smashing. I mean, we are smashing records. Any exposed pipe, or if it's on an exterior wall, but that wall's not insulated well, I mean, it's going to be issues like that. So some of us, this is going to be expensive. So we want to drip our faucets, all that kind of stuff, anything we can do to help out. So let's talk about the cold. Tuesday is a combo. You get the snow and you get the cold. So it's a top alert first warned weather day. But we've actually got 4 of them. So there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, where the wind chills are going to be 15 to 25 below. Thursday's the coldest of it, and that's 20 to 30 degree below zero wind chills. I mean, Thursday morning is just nasty cold. Friday, we do start to crawl out of the worst of it. Here, I'll give you the full graphic. But it's still 10 to 15 below on the wind chills. It could even be down to 20 below if we get a little bit more wind than what I'm seeing now. So we need to be thinking about school cancellations for multiple days. Tuesday because of the cold and the snow, but Wednesday and Thursday, I mean, that really is dangerous. Putting a kid out to go wait by a bus whenever it's that chilly out is just, I think that there's going to be more to follow. I don't know that, but We already have school cancellations. It's tough to tell. Is it snow, cold? Is it both? Anyway, forecast lows. These are the actual air temperatures. Let me show you this. 1 below air temperature by Tuesday morning. And then Wednesday morning is a record at 5 below. It's even colder on Thursday morning, 12 degrees below zero. That one beats the record by 14 degrees. We don't just beat it barely. I mean, a 14-degree break from a record is just remarkable. All right, so that's on Thursday. Friday, another record cold at 4 below. And again, all those mornings, potential wind chills at 20 to 30 degrees below zero, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Right now it's cold. It feels like 5 below already. We're at 12. Got a good wind cooking along. It's at 17 miles per hour. It's gusty out there. Let me show you the radar. And this band that we've got, I'm telling you, from St. Joe to Smithville and Excelsior Springs and Atchison, Leavenworth, that's fairly healthy snow. It's a thin little stripe, but that's going to accumulate pretty quickly. All right, so you guys up there, you might get a quick couple inches out of that. That's not out of the question. Let's pull the view out here a little bit. It's not really within Kansas City Metro yet, or at least not in much of the 435 loop, extending back into northeast Kansas. And this is all part of that developing storm system that's sliding southeast. So this is going to be that band that works its way southeast as we go through this evening. So watch that. There we are. There's the forecast radar. Notice it picks up on that band. If you look closely, you'll see the deepest blue. It did a really good job. That deepest blue just north of KC. But watch this one kind of fall apart. All right, so it moves through. The thinking is this is not a primary band. It'll be around for a few hours, and then it kind of fizzles out, but it's in the area. So it probably won't bring widespread big accumulation. So a lot of us in the Kansas City area, probably about an inch or so. Some of you to the north might get a little bit more, but then it drops off. And this is our lull. So from roughly midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, till tomorrow morning. This is 7 a.m. So we wake up at 7, sun rises after 7 o'clock in the morning. You look out and it may not be dumping snow. It probably won't. We probably won't have a tremendous amount of snow on the ground, but now the main round is sliding in. So let's show you this morning forecast as expect slick roads, expect delays. It's really cold. You're 1 below zero, probably about an inch or so on the ground. Sorry, there's that graphic again. And a gusty wind. That gusty, it's going to have bite. 20-mile-per-hour wind out of the northeast. It's going to sting. Now we're into the main event. So probably about 8 or 9 in the morning is whenever the second round really gets going for the Kansas City area. There's noon, and notice it's lighter to the north, which is why we're forecasting less snow there. You're going to be battling dry air through much of the day on Tuesday. It's more broken. It's lighter snow. You get to Kansas City, we have periods of moderate snow, and then to the south, it's most persistent and it's most intense, and it's going to last the longest there. Let's take it until 5 o'clock. Now we're seeing it start to fall apart. So late in the day, snow's winding down. It still continues south, though. So again, adding to your totals there, we're done up north. And then everybody should be done by about 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. And then Wednesday morning, snow's not a concern. So where we have the purple is a winter weather advisory. This is issued by the National Weather Service, and that goes through 3 o'clock on Wednesday morning. That's a lower tier alert. That's where we could see, 2-3 inches of snow, something like that. To the south is the winter storm warning. Now, they include now Kansas City and the metro in that because they see that potential for that extra fluffy type of snow that could stack up. They're forecasting 4 to 7, so we could get, half a foot of snow. It's possible. That's why we're included in that warning, but it's a question mark. So this is our forecast and what we're saying. Dusting to 2 inches north of KC from Maryville to Bethany. 1 to 4, St. Joe, Richmond, Marshall. 2 to 5 for Lawrence, Olathe, the Kansas City area. But again, for the metro, I'm thinking 2 to 4. But 2 to 5, Odessa, Harrisonville, you get more if you're south. Harrisonville, you're probably closer to the 5. Warrensburg, closer to the 5. Sedalia, 2. And then that 4 to 7 spike is down by Paola, Ottawa, Lacine, Garnett, Butler. You guys are closer to the heart of the storm. You don't have as much dry air around you. It's going to be more persistent. It's going to last longer. That's where we should see our highest snow. All right, let's go to the Tuesday planner. Morning, 20 below wind chill at 7 a.m. Noon's probably going to be about the heaviest of the snow through the day. You're at 2 degrees. And then we go to 4 by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It feels like 15 below. So let me show you the 7-day forecast. All right, Tuesday, you're at 5. By the way, the old record high was 11. We're just going to smoke that record. It's a record cold high on Wednesday at 6. It's a record cold high on Thursday at 10. 3 in a row with 4 actually, nighttime record lows. There's Friday. We're at 20. So only 1 round of snow. It's only on Tuesday. And now look at this, everybody. Ooh, Saturday 35. Give me 10 more on Sunday. We're at 45. And 10 more on Monday. We're at 55. Look at that. Let me show you this. That's 10 degrees warmer than normal after this horrible cold snap. Here comes a spring surge next week. In fact, if we could take this out just a little bit longer, if I had a couple more days on the 7-day, I'd have some 60s on the map. I think by Tuesday we're going to be in the 60s and probably pretty easily in the 60s. So hang on. Let's get through that. And next week is going to be so much better. In the meantime, get ready for that snow. Get ready for that cold. It is truly nasty cold and dangerous, so just want you prepared for it, whatever that means for you and how you go about your life and what it means for you and your family. So I hope that this was helpful for you. We'll have more information at 10. I always tell you that we've got the new computer forecasts that are coming out. Should have those by about 8 o'clock or so, and we'll see how that tweaks. We may have more tweaks. If I come in and I see something different, we may have to adjust these snow totals. I'd do that at 10. And you can see it there. So have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.